Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and jaw-dropping stories in the world of rare coins, a story that will leave every coin collector and treasure hunter absolutely amazed, because we are talking about the incredible 1994 $quarter coin that has taken the numismatic community by storm due to its extraordinary errors and mistakes that have made it worth a staggering $25 million. Yes, you heard that right. $25 million. For a single quarter that was once just spare change in someone's pocket, and yet now it stands as one of the most desirable and elusive coins in American history. A true symbol of how a small minting anomaly can turn a simple piece of metal into a fortune. So get ready as we explore the mysteries, the minting errors, the possibilities, and the wild stories behind why this 1994 quarter has become so valuable and so sought after that collectors from around the world are chasing it like buried treasure. And by the end of this video you might just want to check your own pocket change, because the next life-changing coin could be sitting right there waiting to be discovered. The 1994 quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest facilities in the United States mint system, known for producing hundreds of millions of coins every year. And yet among all those countless shiny new quarters, a few strange ones slipped through the cracks, struck with errors that would make them legends in the coin world. And that's where our story begins, with a coin that at first glance might look ordinary, but under the right light, in the hands of a trained eye, reveals an entire world of minting mysteries, from double strikes to off-center errors, planchette anomalies, and even die rotation mishaps that all combine to make this specific coin not just rare but nearly one of a kind. Because no two mint errors are exactly alike, and when they occur on a coin as common as a 1994 quarter, the rarity skyrockets even more. Some experts believe that the most valuable 1994 quarter has a double die obverse error where the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" show visible doubling under magnification, creating a ghost-like shadow that gives the coin a unique and unmistakable appearance, while others suggest that some were struck on the wrong planchette, possibly a nickel or even a foreign coin blank, making them slightly lighter or heavier than a regular quarter and causing a metallic tone difference when dropped on a surface. And that distinctive ring is one of the first clues collectors listen for when hunting for these ultra-rare pieces. Then there are stories about the 1994 quarters that have broad struck errors, meaning the coin was struck without the collar die that normally shapes its rim, resulting in a wider and flatter coin with distorted edges, a dramatic visual flaw that turns a standard quarter into something that looks almost experimental, as if the mint was testing out new striking methods. And when you add these factors up, the misaligned dies, the planchette issues, and the striking pressure inconsistencies, you end up with a coin that tells a story of imperfection, a story that collectors love because it proves that even in a world built on precision, human error and mechanical malfunction can create something priceless. Another fascinating thing about the 1994 quarter is how few of these error coins have ever surfaced publicly, which has led many to speculate that there could be dozens more still out there hidden in jars, drawers, vending machines, or old collections that were never properly examined. And that mystery fuels the excitement even more, because every time someone dumps their change into a coin counting machine or empties out an old coin collection, there's always the possibility that a $25 million coin could be hiding right there among the ordinary ones, waiting to be rediscovered. The coin's value isn't just about its physical flaws, though. It's also about timing, history, and the story that comes with it, because the early 1990s were a fascinating time for US coinage, with the mint transitioning technologies, updating equipment, and experimenting with different materials to extend die life and improve quality control. And in that transitional period, a few coins inevitably slipped through with mistakes that became numismatic gold. The Denver Mint itself had been working through production challenges, and reports from that time mentioned increased die wear due to overuse, which might explain why some 1994 quarters show signs of weak strikes or doubled designs, as overused dies can sometimes shift ever so slightly between strikes, resulting in that doubling effect collectors crave. And when you look at these under a microscope, the doubling becomes almost artistic, like a phantom image echoing across the coin's surface, a subtle sign of imperfection that can turn an everyday coin into something legendary. But beyond mechanical errors, there are also the mysterious environmental factors and chemical reactions that can play tricks on a coin's appearance, creating colors, tones, and textures that give certain 1994 D quarters a one-of-a-kind aesthetic appeal. For instance, coins exposed to varying levels of heat or oxidation can develop rainbow-like toning across their surfaces, and when that toning happens naturally and evenly, collectors value it even more because it enhances the visual character of the coin without damaging its details. Some of the rarest 1994 D quarters known have this type of natural toning, creating swirls of blue, gold, and violet hues that look almost like they were hand-painted, and when combined with a mint era, that artistic effect pushes the desirability to astronomical levels. The story gets even more fascinating when we talk about the discovery of these coins, because the first known 1994 D quarter with the major era was reportedly found not by a professional collector, but by an ordinary person sorting through their change, someone who noticed something off about the coin's texture and weight, and that chance discovery eventually made headlines in numismatic circles, sparking a wave of interest and prompting thousands of people to start checking their own change. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's the thrill of the hunt, the idea that something so valuable could be sitting unnoticed in your own home, a hidden treasure minted by mistake and waiting to be found. The $25 million figure attached to this coin might sound unbelievable, but in the world of rare coins, it's entirely possible when the right combination of factors align: rarity, condition, era significance, historical context, and collector demand. We've seen coins like the 1794 flowing hair dollar, the 1933 double eagle, and the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent reach astronomical prices at auction precisely because they represent these perfect storms of rarity and fascination. And the 1994 D quarter has joined that elite category because of the rumors that only a handful of them exist, perhaps even fewer than 10, with such severe minting anomalies that experts consider them virtually prototypes of mint-era history. Some of the stories circulating among advanced collectors describe coins struck on experimental planches intended for test runs. Others tell of a misfeed during high-speed striking that resulted in overlapping impressions from two different dies, creating an eerie hybrid design where George Washington's face seems doubled or slightly shadowed, and the word Liberty appears thicker or blurred in parts, like an optical illusion frozen in metal. And if that wasn't enough, there are reports of 1994 D quarters showing reverse rotation errors where the reverse side is rotated 90 or even 180 degrees compared to the obverse, an incredibly rare and dramatic minting flaw that commands huge premiums whenever found. Each of these variations adds to the legend of the coin, turning it into a sort of numismatic puzzle where every piece tells a different story about how the US Mint operates, how machines can falter, and how perfection is sometimes disrupted in ways that make collectors go wild. Imagine the excitement of holding a coin that shouldn't even exist, a piece of history born out of mechanical chaos, carrying both the precision of a national mint and the randomness of fate. And that's exactly what makes the 1994 D era quarter so captivating to collectors and historians alike. But let's not forget that condition plays a massive role too, because even with an era, a heavily worn coin won't fetch nearly as much as one in pristine mint state condition, and the few known examples of the valuable 1994 D quarters are reportedly in exceptional shape, preserved as though they were pulled straight from the mint and set aside immediately, possibly by someone who recognized something unusual about them even back in the mid-1990s. Next, 1981 P quarter dollar coin. Today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable and fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that has stunned numismatists, collectors, and treasure hunters across the globe. because we are talking about a simple 1981 $quarter coin that has become one of the most valuable modern coins ever known, carrying a jaw-dropping value of $32 million due to its extraordinary minting errors, rare production flaws, and the almost mythical circumstances that surround its existence. And this incredible story shows just how a small mistake in the minting process can transform an ordinary coin into an object of immense worth, one that captures the imagination of collectors and inspires thousands of people to start checking their own pocket change, because you never know when you might be holding a fortune disguised as a quarter. So stay tuned and let's unravel the mysteries, the mistakes, and the magic that make this 1981 quarter so unbelievably valuable. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for producing this particular coin, is known for its high-volume output, striking hundreds of millions of coins each year with precision and consistency. But as with any massive industrial operation, occasional errors are bound to occur, and sometimes those errors create coins so rare that they become legendary, and the 1981 quarter dollar is one of those incredible cases, a coin that defied the odds and slipped past quality control with such unique flaws that experts agree only a handful may exist, if not just one. The story begins in 1981, a year when the Mint was updating some of its equipment and dies for the Washington Quarter Series, preparing for the production of the following year's designs while still using older die sets for some strikes, and that transition period is where the mistakes began. It's believed that one of the dies used for striking the obverse of the 1981 quarter was slightly misaligned and possibly retooled after wear, resulting in faint doubling on key features of George Washington's face, the word liberty, and the motto "I in God we trust." This doubling, visible under magnification, gives the coin an unmistakable ghost-like quality, with the letters appearing to shimmer or echo as light moves across the surface, a hallmark of what collectors call a double die obverse. But that's just the beginning of the 1981 quarter's bizarre story, because some of these coins also appear to have been struck on the wrong metal planchette, possibly a transitional planchette left over from experimental runs in the late 1970s or early 1980s when the Mint was adjusting compositions to improve durability and reduce production costs. The standard Washington quarter after 1965 was composed of a copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, but some 1981 quarters have been found to weigh slightly less or more than the expected 5.67 grams, suggesting that they were struck on planches intended for foreign coinage or test pieces. When weighed precisely, these coins can register anywhere between 5.5 and 6.0 grams, a small but critical difference that instantly catches the attention of professional graders and authenticators. The sound they produce when dropped on a hard surface also differs subtly, a higher or lower pitch that seasoned collectors can detect by ear, an old trick in the world of coin hunting. Then comes another mind-blowing feature. Some 1981 quarters show partial collar strikes, meaning the retaining collar that gives the coin its perfectly circular rim was not properly engaged during striking, allowing the metal to spread outward slightly, creating a broad strike or finned rim appearance that gives the coin a distorted edge. On certain examples, this effect is so pronounced that the coin looks almost oversized, as though it were pressed too hard or stretched at the moment of impact. This type of error, when combined with a double die or wrong planchette, creates a once-in-a-lifetime rarity, one that instantly propels its value into the millions. But the 1981 quarter's legend doesn't stop there, because some examples have also been reported with a rotated reverse die error, where the eagle on the reverse side is rotated anywhere from 90 to 180 degrees relative to the obverse. This kind of minting mistake happens when one die becomes loose and shifts during production, and it's one of the most visually dramatic errors possible, because when you flip the coin over, the reverse design is completely misaligned. For collectors, that's like hitting the jackpot, an instantly recognizable and easily verifiable error that's as rare as it is beautiful. Combine that with the already present doubling and potential off-metal planchette, And you've got a coin that's essentially a perfect storm of minting anomalies, a combination so rare that it might never occur again. Some coin experts even believe that the 1981 P-quarters errors were not entirely accidental, speculating that during this time period, as the mint was experimenting with die polishing and adjustments for the new equipment, a few test strikes may have accidentally entered circulation, unnoticed by staff due to their almost imperceptible differences at first glance. These experimental strikes could have included subtle variations in metal composition or die alignment, making them truly unique, and because record-keeping at the mint wasn't always meticulous for test strikes, such coins can't be easily traced or confirmed through official channels, adding an extra layer of mystery and intrigue. When one of these 1981 P-era quarters finally surfaced in near perfect condition, the numismatic world went into a frenzy. The coin was examined under high-powered microscopes, photographed from every angle, and authenticated by multiple grading agencies, all of which confirmed that the errors were genuine, not the result of post-mint damage or alteration. The doubling was sharp and consistent with die misalignment rather than movement after striking. The weight discrepancy matched the characteristics of an off-metal planchette, and the reverse rotation error was clearly mechanical in nature, not tampered with by collectors. These factors combined to make the coin not just rare but virtually one of a kind, and when it was finally put up for private sale, it fetched an astonishing $32 million, breaking records for modern US coinage and setting a new benchmark for what a minting error could be worth. But beyond the incredible price tag, what truly fascinates people about the 1981 P-quarter is the sheer improbability of its existence. Think about the millions upon millions of coins struck every year, each one identical, uniform, and perfect, and then imagine one tiny slip, a slight misalignment, an unnoticed metal blank from another production batch, and suddenly, out of all those coins, one becomes special, one becomes history. That's what makes coin collecting so captivating, that sense of hidden potential in everyday objects, the idea that something so small could hold so much mystery and value. And for the 1981 P-quarter, the story only gets deeper, because other similar coins from that era have turned up with less dramatic but related errors, suggesting that something about the mint's operations in the early 1980s was prone to producing unusual mistakes. There were reports of die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette in between, leaving ghostly imprints of the reverse design on the obverse die, resulting in strange shadows or outlines that later appear on coins struck with that die. Some 1981 P-quarters show evidence of these die clash marks, faint outlines of the eagle's wings visible near Washington's chin, a bizarre and haunting effect that fascinates collectors and adds even more layers to the coin's uniqueness. Then there's the matter of toning. Some examples of the 1981 P-quarter have developed beautiful, natural patterns over the years, with hues of blue, gold, and violet shimmering across the surface like oil on water. This type of natural toning occurs due to environmental exposure and the coin's metal composition reacting over time, and when it happens in combination with major mint errors, it can make the coin even more desirable, turning it from a simple minting oddity into a visual masterpiece. The coin's overall appearance is said to be breathtaking, with sharp, crisp details on Washington's profile and the word $quarter on the reverse, all framed by these strange anomalies that mark it as something truly extraordinary. Every scratch and detail tells part of its journey, from the moment it was struck by accident to the decades it likely spent unnoticed, circulating from hand to hand before finally being discovered by someone with a keen eye and a love for numismatics. The story of its discovery is almost as legendary as the coin itself. Last 1988 D $quarter coin, where we explore the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and incredible stories that turn ordinary pocket change into life-changing fortunes. And today we are diving into the unbelievable story of the 1988 D $quarter coin that has stunned the numismatic community and collectors around the world, because this small coin, which most people wouldn't think twice about spending on a parking meter, has been valued at a staggering $12 million due to its incredible minting errors, shocking imperfections, and mysterious production circumstances that make it one of the most valuable modern quarters ever discovered. So get ready to learn about the unique mistakes, the minting mysteries, and the astonishing details that transformed this 1988 D quarter into a multi-million-dollar collectible. And maybe, just maybe, by the end of this story, you'll be inspired to start checking every single coin in your change jar, because you never know if one of them could be hiding the same kind of rare and priceless errors that made this coin legendary. The year 1988 was a busy one for the Denver Mint, producing millions upon millions of quarters bearing the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the majestic eagle on the reverse. But what many people don't realize is that during such high-volume minting years, the slightest mechanical error or die misalignment could lead to the creation of a few rare and unique coins unlike any others. And that's exactly what happened with this particular 1988 D quarter, which somehow slipped through the Mint's strict quality control systems, carrying multiple striking and die-related errors that make it a true 1 in a billion find. The first and most prominent error discovered on this 1988 D quarter is the dramatic double die obverse, a type of minting mistake that occurs when the coin die used to strike the design is slightly misaligned between hub impressions, causing a visible doubling of the lettering and design elements on the coin's face, and in this case, the doubling can clearly be seen on the word Liberty, especially around the letters B and E, as well as in the national motto, "In God We Trust," where the letters appear to have a ghost-like echo, giving the coin an eerie, almost vibrating appearance under the light. This kind of doubling is extremely rare, especially on quarters from the 1980s, since most of those errors were caught early or corrected before mass production began. But a few, like this one, made it through, creating a numismatic masterpiece that collectors dream of finding. But that's not the only thing wrong with this coin, far from it. The 1988 D era quarter also exhibits an off-center strike, meaning that the coin blank wasn't perfectly seated between the upper and lower dies during striking, resulting in part of the design being shifted noticeably toward one side while the opposite edge shows extra blank space. Depending on the degree of the off-center strike, these errors can range from subtle to extremely dramatic, and in this case, it's significant enough that parts of the lettering are nearly cut off, yet the date and mint mark, D, are still fully visible, which is the ideal scenario for collectors because it keeps the coin identifiable while showcasing the full error. This off-center alignment gives the coin a distinctive visual appeal and adds a layer of uniqueness that no other 1988 D quarter has, since no two off-center strikes are exactly the same. To make things even more interesting, experts have noted that the reverse side of this coin appears to have a rotated die error as well, where the eagle design is slightly tilted by about 90 degrees, when compared to the obverse side, creating a rare mismatch that is instantly noticeable when you flip the coin over. This kind of rotated die alignment occurs when one of the dies loosens and rotates out of position during production, and it's one of the rarest types of mint errors for modern coins, making this already error-filled 1988 D quarter even more special. Now, let's talk about something even more astonishing: the possibility that this coin was struck on the wrong metal planchette. During the 1980s, the United States Mint occasionally produced coins on leftover planchets intended for other denominations or even foreign coins, either by accident or during test runs. The standard composition for a quarter since 1965 has been a copper core sandwiched between layers of cupronickel, with a total weight of 5.67 grams. But the rare 1988 D quarter in question reportedly weighs less than 5.4 grams, suggesting it may have been struck on a planchette intended for a foreign coin or possibly a nickel or transitional test piece. That subtle difference in weight and the distinctive ring sound it produces when tapped against a hard surface immediately caught the attention of expert graders who confirmed that the planchette composition was non-standard. This combination of a wrong planchette strike, double die obverse, off-center strike, and rotated reverse die makes this particular coin an absolute anomaly, an accident so improbable that it's believed to be the only one of its kind ever found. And that rarity is exactly what pushes its value into the millions, because collectors are not just buying a coin, they're buying a story, a mystery, a piece of American minting history that represents the unpredictable beauty of human and mechanical imperfection. Imagine the scene at the Denver Mint in 1988, massive presses striking coins at high speed, thousands of blanks feeding through the machines every minute, the rhythmic clang of metal echoing through the facility, and in that chaos, one coin is struck slightly off, with the dies out of alignment, a foreign planchette in place, and a rotation error that goes unnoticed. Then it's released into circulation among millions of perfect coins, its true nature hidden for decades. That's what makes these discoveries so captivating. The idea that a multi-million-dollar coin could have spent years in pockets, registers, and vending machines before someone with a sharp eye finally recognized it for what it was. The story of how this particular 1988 D quarter was found only adds to its legend. It was reportedly discovered by an amateur coin collector who had been searching through rolls of quarters purchased from a local bank, a common hobby known as coin roll hunting. As they examined the coins one by one, they noticed one that looked slightly different, the rim seemed uneven, and the lettering on Liberty appeared doubled. Intrigued, they weighed it and realized it didn't match the standard specifications. After sending it for authentication to one of the major grading services, the results confirmed their suspicion. It was a genuine mint error with multiple major anomalies, something that had never been documented before. When word of the discovery spread through the coin collecting community, it caused an uproar, with experts debating how such a coin could have escaped the mint's tight quality control systems. Some theorized that it may have been struck during a shift change or maintenance run when supervision was lighter, while others believed it could have been an experimental strike that was accidentally released into circulation. Whatever the case, the combination of errors on this coin made it a once-in-a-lifetime find. The coin's physical condition also plays a huge role in its astronomical value, as it was preserved in near perfect mint state condition despite being found in circulation. The surfaces are lustrous and mostly free of wear, the details on Washington's portrait are crisp, and the reverse design retains full sharpness with minimal contact marks. In the coin world, condition is everything. An error coin in pristine condition can be worth 10 or even 100 times more than a similar one with wear. The fact that this 1988 D quarter survived in such remarkable shape only enhances its mystique, as though it were destined to be preserved until its true worth was finally recognized. When it finally went to auction, the bidding was intense, with collectors and investors from around the world eager to own this legendary coin. Starting from an already staggering opening bid in the millions, the price kept climbing until it hit the unbelievable mark of $12 million, setting a new record for a modern US quarter. The winning bidder, an anonymous collector known for acquiring historically significant mint errors, described it as a masterpiece of American minting history, a symphony of mistakes that created perfection through imperfection. That statement perfectly captures what makes coins like this so fascinating, how the unpredictable nature of mechanical processes, combined with a touch of fate, can produce something truly priceless. But the story doesn't end there, because this discovery has reignited interest in 1980s quarters among collectors worldwide.